All right, we're rolling. It is Coda Barking, Wednesday, August 13th. So let's get at it. So I was seeing on Telegram and different places, Twitter, a lot of people are getting very frustrated, and that's understandable with the drying up of news, or the roller coaster is broken, and we're all stuck on the hill. So I'm not discouraged. I think one, it's nice not hearing the usual clowns out there spewing their shit about, oh, it went in country yesterday and I know the secret sauce and blah, blah, blah. It's been a very nice not having all that noise in the background. So, what we have to focus on right now is what we can focus on. Right now, it's Iraq. So, Brothers Technology, Majid, Swisher, all these gals on Twitter, they're sharing articles about Iraq and Kurdistan region, the oil. So they have sat down and signed agreements for the mechanism to start the oil flowing, and the caveat is they need something like 54,000 barrels of crude ready to go. And I said this a couple days ago on a video. I think they already have that oil sitting somewhere. And it's stockpiled and it's ready to go. They've just been waiting on the green light. So what does mechanisms mean? So in the 23, 24, 25 budget, there's mechanisms in there so that when this thing finally lifts off and they have a rate, the mechanisms will allow them to go back and retroactively pay from 23 on and adjust their budget tables. So basically stockpiling a buttload of money in their reserves and paying salaries back to 23, yada, yada, yada. So I think as far as Iraq is concerned, I think we're in a good place. It's very positive news that's coming out of there. I am going to share a clip from Stacy, Crash the Matrix. Her new handle is Sick of BS on Twitter. So this was a video she made some time ago when she was still on TikTok. And it's regarding an aerial post. Since then, she's like a lot of people and has gotten frustrated in the whole RV Nasara talks. And she's kind of taking a back seat to it. Doesn't really get involved with it anymore. But the reason I want to share this video, and I've spoken with, she's cool with it, is she goes into Trump talking about the amount of dinar that the United States holds. We are holding it in an account. How the conversion does and what that will look like when it goes. I believe the rate she used was $4, 4 to 1. Just throwing her number out there. And then talking a little bit about Nasara. Now, we have been sold a big bill of goods for Nasara, and to her credit, and I kind of feel the same way, there's not really tangible proof of what Nasara is going to be. We've been told what it's going to be. We've been, some of it's very, very much a tall, I don't want to say tall tale, but a big order. And then a week or so ago, Bob Locke was on Mark's show, and he was going into what he thought, as from a lawyer's perspective, how Nasara would roll out. To my point is that we don't really know for sure what Nasara is going to look like. If you're in a Mr. C camp, he believes he puts in the codes that unlocks the gold for the US dollar, and so the gold is sitting somewhere and it's disconnected from the US debt. And then so he, being the person that was involved with the Bush family way back when had been approached by the families from China that are responsible for this gold. They will come to him, give him codes. He enters it into a computer with through Interpol and different things, and it connects the gold to the U.S. dollar in a nutshell. I'm sure it's loosely paraphrasing, but he believes when that happens, all debt's wiped out. That there's going to be perp walks with crooked politicians and whoever presidents and whatever else being perp walk to plane to go to get Mo or whatever. So there's been a lot of, my point is there's been a lot of broad strokes painted with NESARA. So we don't actually know what it's going to be. But if you think about it in a logical standpoint, if all the laws and statutes and things of that nature that have been written over the past hundreds, since 1913 or whatever, and NESARA is supposed to terminate all that, do you see that could open up the United States to a lot of anarchy and a lot of legal craziness? Now I'm sure the white hats have it all figured out, but from a practical standpoint, it's a big pill to swallow to believe that they're going to flip a switch and bam, it all happens, and unicorns come out of the forest finally. And I'm not saying that they're not real, because I've seen stuff, but I'm being facetious. So and then the med beds and all that stuff, and I pray to God that med beds are real. I hope they're a full-blown Star Trek med bed, lay down, fix you, and get back out 20 years younger, because I have immediate need for that. My wife has health issues. I have health issues. We all have stuff that we need fixed by med beds. Hopefully it's real. I don't know. But my point, going back to my point, is NESARA and everything that's been lumped together with NESARA is a big pill to swallow. My thought is we initially get a big something that happens with NESARA. The RV goes right before, right after, whatever, it's kind of like post or pre-tribulation theories in church and stuff. But it either, we get something sizable that happens, and then layers of NESARA roll out thereafter. So she does a really great point of kind of like dipping her toe into that at the end of the video I'm going to share. But it also shows you how Trump, being Trump, way back when, invested all that money in Dinar, and how it could really lend itself to righting the deficit, which in NESARA-esque could be how the debts are paid off. So, very interesting video, and this is just short and sweet video. I'm not diving into a whole lot of articles and all that stuff. Get on Twitter, follow me, follow Brothers Technology, Majid. There's so many on there that share articles and give their commentary on it. We're not the be all end all. That's what the space between your ears is for. You have to do research and you have to get your own interpretation of it. I do my best to answer questions on whatever platform I'm posting stuff on, but I can't get to all of them. I do actually have day job and stuff. So, but mainly I just wanted to get this video out there just to tell everybody, just because it's quiet, don't freak out, don't get frustrated. I know this has been a long journey, and some of us have been on it for a long time, and not so much. And we all have our frustrations. We all have our needs. I'm not belittling that at all. Some people, they're barely keeping a roof over their head, if they even have that. Some people are living in their cars. So the need is great, and that's where I get a lot of comments from people saying you shouldn't attack Tony and Wolverine and all these other morons. But when they're effing around with people's emotions and people who are living in cars and people who are living hand to mouth, and they're selling fake bonds and doing whatever else and charging subscriptions to platforms just to get their insider scoop, that's where the anger comes from. That's where the indignation comes from, because it's like this is all information that's out there, and those of us who get it and share it freely, it's very frustrating and demoralizing to see people charging money for this and taking advantage of people who are so desperate for information, so desperate for hopium, some sort of hope, and you're charging them a monthly fee for that. And that's wrong in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But when I roast these guys, that's where it's coming. That's the place it's coming from. So do with it what you will, but don't give up. The whole thing is darkest before the dawn. Hopefully that's what this quiet spell is. Some things that are on the horizon that could be possible barriers, but it really does seem like a lock. The CBI governor and Sudani have been 2.0'd. They don't really look like the guys that used to be there. So if we have to go through Sudani 2.0 being reelected and some other things, then this could be pushed out to Q1 2026, aka the first of the year of 2026. I don't think we're going to have to wait that long, especially with the other things in the world that's going on. And you always have to kind of take that 30,000 foot view and connect the dots of what's going on. We have Trump federalizing, Washington, threatening to do the same thing in the other big blue cities and states, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis. So there are big things happening. There are big things happening, and it's like, okay, so if we're focused on Iraq and we're seeing the things that are going on there, they've been cleaning up the corruption. Now they have the mechanisms. They had a deal signed for the mechanisms. They just need oil. They just need this and that. And then you have over here what Trump's doing in the United States. Then you have over here, they're trying to land this Russia-Ukraine plane and get that thing put to bed. So it's like all the pieces are converging, and the space between is getting smaller. So it's encouraging when you look at the big picture and you see all the pieces coming together. It's more encouraging than if you just pigeonhole on one thing. So that's it for today. It's my little rant. But I don't like seeing people that I know are desperate and being frustrated and being, getting their chains yanked. So I just wanted to go on here and give you guys some glimmer of good news, and just hang in there. And hopefully we'll have some news to talk about. And also XRP, the Ripple case being put to bed. So there are things happening. So just hang in there, guys. Come on, hang in there. It'll be worth it in the end. And from the beginning of time, and I know I keep saying I'm landing this plane, but so from the beginning of time to now, think of all the history of banking, and then how the deep state came in and established the Federal Reserve and all these things that have robbed the American people for so long. This space of time that we are in right now is the death of old banking and the birth of new banking. So it's I've said this before, an analogy. We're in the labor and delivery room, and Mama's been pushing and everything for 48 hours, and it's very frustrating. It's time to give birth to this baby and move into the future. So that's that space of time that we're in right now, transitioning from the past into the future. And we're in labor pains right now. So let's get this baby out. Let's pop that thing out and let's get this thing going. So now for real, I'm landing this plane. All right, we'll see you on the next one.
I wanted to talk about this tweet. He posted it last night. He wrote the green light. What did Iraq announce yesterday? Basically, they announced that they're removing their foreign troops from the U.S.-led coalition against ISIS. So it's a big thing. And he said, what did I tell you they must do in order to remove the American military from the country? And now look at what Donald Trump stated. And before I show you that clip from Trump, this is going to lead into the dinar and the revaluation. So he says down here, there was an economist that said about Iraq coming out 1-1. Right now, Iraq's dinar is worth this. Not very much. It takes 1,300 Iraqi dinars to equal $1 US. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm going to show you the clip real quick of what Trump told Laura Ingraham in an interview about how much we have of the Iraqi dinar.
But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money we put in. How are you going to collect? Well, we have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account. And I think they'll agree to pay. I think they'll agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there.
So Trump says, if we remove our troops, they're going to pay. We already have 35 billion sitting in account of their money, which is worth a lot less because it's not this equal 1-1. Now let's say it revalues and it does go 1-1. Then we have $35 billion and they're going to pay us more because they owe us after we remove our troops. Do the math. Did you do the math? Let me show you. Right now, with that 35 billion, we have 4.5 trillion Iraqi dinars. So you take the 4.5 trillion, and let's say it actually, when all is said and done, it revalues to $4. So let's take 4.5 trillion and multiply it by $4. It comes up to 18 trillion. And that's just using that 35 billion figure that Trump mentioned 3 years ago. And if they do remove American troops, then they have to, again, pay us more for removing those American troops. And like he says here, we all know Trump likes to renovate. Star Trek future right around the corner. I don't know. We could do a lot. Trump could give a lot back to the people with that amount of money or more. And I'm pointing this out because I really think a lot of people are focused on the wrong thing. There's too many people forgetting about this kind of thing happening because they're focused on Nasara. And I'm not saying Nasara is not real, but with this kind of thing going on, do we need it? Did you ever think about the revaluation and how it will affect the financial system? So, we're hinging on Nasara, putting money in our lap, but we don't even know what Nasara is going to entail. We don't have a law to look at. We don't know I'm trying to keep it real. So I know Trump has talked about this kind of thing, and we know there is a revaluation coming because he's mentioned a level playing field. We know things are going to change for the financial system. It has to. So I'm just pointing it out because I think if people would forget about what they've been told about and look at what's actually happening, you might see that you might be getting Nasara without actually getting Nasara.